episode 5. Damn. Well, we did get 3 episodes right out the gate, so that makes sense. It's your boy Icon with a little DC animated TV, and Harley Quinn episode 5 is entitled "Is a Swamp Thing." And kudos to Swamp Thing, the Green has returned, ladies and gentlemen. And I was actually super excited about that. There were 3 cameos in this episode, which was awesome. So let's just get right into this. So the episode starts where Poison Ivy, she's still trying to find Frank. And she's actually trying to access the green. Like, if you watch my Swamp Thing reviews, you know why I keep saying the green. And check that out. Like, go watch the Swamp Thing series, because that was a damn good series. They need to bring that back. Anyway, Poison Ivy, she's trying to access the green, and she can't because, Harley's eating chips, and then, like, she feels like she's not strong enough, and she's emotionally disturbed, and she's just like, oh, I can't do it. It's like, I can't access the green, Harles. So then after that, Harley reminds her that, I guess, a couple of seasons ago, and if this is true, please remind me, she said that there was an episode where they had hung out with Nora Freeze, and they told Nora Freeze that they would actually have a hangout date in, like, somewhere in the near future. And the hangout date that they said was actually, like, this particular day today. So then Poison Ivy was like, oh, Harley, you need to cancel. But then it was too late because Nora Freeze had showed up. So Nora Freeze, she's at, and I forget. I remember the Victor Freeze episode. I got to go back and watch it because I don't remember the specifics. So Nora Freeze shows up, and then, she's there, Harley's there, they're talking about beignets and everything, and then there was mention, about Harley, about Ivy trying to be able to access the green, and then she was just like, oh, but if you're the only person who can access the green, you just have to try harder. And then that's when Ivy was like, well, I'm not the only person. She said that, Swamp Thing could actually access the green, and he could find Frank in no time. So then she was like, who's Swamp Thing? And then she was trying to explain, like, who Alec, Holland was and everything, and then, they're just like, at the end, they're just like, well, listen, if that's the case, then we'll just go down to New Orleans, since he lives in New Orleans. We'll go down there and party. I mean, find Frank. And then, we'll find Swamp Thing and use Swamp Thing to find Frank. And then Ivy was like, are we really going down there to find Swamp Thing and find Frank? Or are we going down there so the two of you can go to Mardi Gras and, like, get drunk and wasted? Obviously, we know the answer to that. So they get on a plane, they fly down to New Orleans. When they get to New Orleans, they go to a bar, and I have to give respect to the people that draw the episode, the people that do the animation. I have to give them a lot of credit, because the way that they drew the swamp in Louisiana, it's an exact animated replica of how was it Moraine? That was it, Moraine down to Skeeter Cove, like where Swamp Thing lives in New Orleans, how it is on the TV show. Like, if you go back and look at the Swamp Thing TV show and see how the sets were, like how the atmosphere was, how the trees were set up, the houses, everything, it looks exactly how it looked on the TV show. And I was like, wow, like, that's some serious attention to detail. Even down to, like, the bar. And I'm surprised we didn't get a cameo from the black girl who was on the Swamp Thing TV show, because her and her dad ran that bar that they were at. But anyway, so they're at the bar, they're trying to find Swamp Thing, see if they can find Swamp Thing. While they're trying to find Swamp Thing, we get our first cameo of the night, which comes from John Constantine. Good old John. And kudos to Matt Ryan for, like, he's getting paid. Like the character Constantine has literally saved this man's financial future. Like, he's making so much, and it's just like, he does it so well. He's getting paid out the ass and he didn't even do that long. Like, he just had, like, one little conversation where, he saw Poison Ivy, and then he was just like, oh, I'll help you find the green, love. All you have to do is just drink me under the table. And then everybody ended up getting drunk. Well, Ivy didn't want to do it at first, but then, she decided to, because she didn't want to listen to Harley and listen to Nora Freeze, like, do their thing. So, because they were, like, spilling their feelings. So she was just like, fine. She was like, Constantine, she's like, what she say? She said, get your Chris Angel ass over here. So he goes, they all get drunk. And like I said, kudos to Matt Ryan for coming back and voicing John Constantine, love. And then, like, the next morning, Nora Freeze was in the green, because she said that, she had drunk Constantine under the table, and he told her the location of where Swamp Thing was. So the two of them, like, they get up, they go down to where Nora Freeze is, they can't find her, and then after that, they actually bump into Swamp Thing. Now, that was the only thing that was, like, a tad disappointing, because, like they said, the way they portrayed Moraine, Louisiana was perfect, just like the television show. Everything except for Swamp Thing, because they made the Swamp Thing character goofy as fuck. And I didn't like that too much, but I accepted it because this is Harley Quinn, so you really can't take it too you seriously. So, but anyway, then we find out that like Harley, that Swamp Thing and Nora Freeze had sexual relations, and then after that, Ivy was just like, me and him used to be friends, but we haven't spoken in a long time, and then that's why she didn't feel comfortable asking him to look into the green to try to find Frank. So she was like, well, Nora, she was like, since you banged him, she was like, why don't you ask him? And then Nora didn't feel comfortable doing it, and then she was just like, come on, she was like, he's your boyfriend, why can't you just ask him? And then she's like, wait, he's not my boyfriend. And then when she said that, Swamp Thing overheard her, and then he was like, what do you mean you're not my boyfriend? Yeah, I'm not your boyfriend. He was like, but I wasn't. He was like, you were literally inside me and everything. And then she was just like, like, I'm not trying to have a serious relationship right now. And then he just emotionally lost it. He lost his shit. And the problem with him emotionally losing it, his emotions are connected to the green. So he literally like blew the entire ecosystem out of whack. Ivy ended up being the one, tasked with the responsibility of trying to calm him down. And then while she was trying to calm him down, and then, he got mad he was just like, you don't know how I feel because you've never loved anybody and you don't know how it feels to lose somebody. And then that's when she broke down. He was like, he said that you're a selfish bitch. And then she was just like, no, she was like, I'm only here because I'm trying to find my best friend, Frank, and I'm not strong enough. And I was a horrible friend to him and blah, blah, blah. And then she apologized to, Swamp Thing. And then she started crying. And then once she started crying, that's when Swamp Thing, like, he calmed down. He was like, well, that's all I really wanted, because he said that back then Swamp Thing was actually dating somebody. I think he was married to somebody, and him and Poison Ivy were friends. But he said that when he went through the divorce, he went to Poison Ivy for like comfort, for friendship, communication and everything. And then he said that she selfishly like blew him off and didn't give him the time of day and disregarded his feelings. So that's why he was just like, no, you're a selfish bitch. And but then she came to that realization, and then she legitimately felt bad, and then she apologized. She started crying, and then that made him be like, see, it wasn't that hard to admit your faults. And then he was just like, now I'll help you. So then he got over the Nora thing. Nora ended up going back home, or she went back to, Mardi Gras or whatever. And then that's when, Ivy was just like, so can you help me find Frank? And then, he was just like, I don't need to help you, because he said that the power to access the green like lives within you. It resides within you. You just have to truly believe that you could do it. And then she made a funny line. She was like, damn it. She was like, I hate when the power was inside me all along. And then she did her thing. Harley got her beignets, and then she did her thing to access the green. Meanwhile, back at Wayne Manor, Bruce Wayne and Catwoman, they've been spending time together, and Catwoman is just brushing. The way they're portraying Bruce Wayne to be like a simp is actually really funny. And because that night he's like the Dark Knight, and he goes around kicking ass and taking names, and then he's just like crying and shit because like Catwoman don't want to be with him. I thought that was hilarious. But anyway, so Catwoman leaves and says that she wants some me time. Bruce is like emotionally disturbed over it, and then he doesn't know what to do. Alfred ends up hijacking both of them, kidnapping both of them, and sends them to couples counseling. And the person in charge of doing the couples counseling was our third cameo of the episode, with Swamp Thing being the second cameo, was the Music Meister. And if you watch Batman, the Brave and the Bold, hell, even if you watch The Flash and Supergirl, you're aware of the Music Meister, though he was black. That's when he was black. So the Music Meister, he did his music thing, because like he plays music, and his music controls people. He makes people express themselves through song and dance and everything. And then he got to Selena and Bruce. Selena and Bruce sung their feelings, and basically what their feelings was that Catwoman basically wanted to be left alone, and Bruce was like desperately trying to be a couple. So then the two of them broke up over that. Their relationship was over. The Music Meister was just like, I already got paid, so I'm out. And then then like he dipped. So then Catwoman went back to her apartment. She kicked out King Shark, and then she was just sitting there just chilling, just like thinking about everything that happened. Well, so then at that moment when Poison Ivy tried to access the green, and she saw Frank, and she found Frank. And then when she saw where Frank was, she saw what was going on through Frank's eyes. She looked at the person who kidnapped him and had him pinned to the table, and it actually ended up being Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne was talking to Alfred, and he was just like, oh, it's fine that Selena doesn't want to be a couple. I'm just going to focus on my work because Poison Ivy did something to this poor plant, and I'm going to figure out what it is. And then now Poison Ivy knows that Bruce is the person who kidnapped Frank. And now Poison Ivy's on her way to Wayne Manor to go handle that, and so she can get Frank back. That's how the episode ended, and thank you for tuning in. So kudos to this episode, because this was a crazy episode. Like, there was like sex, drugs, and murder like all over the place. Good to see Swamp Thing back. drag Murray, Louisiana down to Skeeter Cove. You know, like it's good to see John Constantine. That was a shock to me. Like, I gotta legitimately say, like, that was a shock to me. So like I said, we're at 5 episodes. We're probably gonna get 10, and then so we're halfway there, and then we'll see how everything unfolds. And the search for Frank continues as we roll on. So check out my other review. Well, my other review is coming up soon because we're doing She-Hulk for all you Marvel fans, because She-Hulk is coming up, I believe, on the 18th. And then at the end of the month, we got the returning Stargirl, and we're going to review Stargirl as well. So plenty of action coming your way. Just keep an eye out for it. Hopefully we'll have a podcast, the Tacos and Geek podcast, coming up with myself, Sean, and Gotham Geek Girl Nadia. And we'll roll on as all the superhero goodness flows, and then we'll just make it all gravy. So thanks for tuning in, guys. So until next time, as we access the green, the search for Frank continues. Until next week, we're out this bitch.